Hey, Patricia, how are you?
How are you?
Good, good, good. I had an event last week.
Oh my goodness.
I got rear-ended on the way home Thursday.
Oh no. Are you okay?
I'm getting there. You're gonna have to do probably a little bit of physical therapy and chiropractor and that kind of stuff, but like no broken bones or anything. The car took the most damage, thankfully.
So hopefully it was not your nice vet that's on the garage.
It was not the vet, it was the Tesla. So, and it's got a fair amount of damage, and as you know, you own a few. They're not exactly cheap on those parts. So
No. There might be a
I'm giving it a 50-50 shot that it gets totaled. So we'll see. The at fault parties insurance, Geico. I don't know if y'all are familiar or had any dealings with them, but they are very slow in their claims process. Like this was Thursday, this happened, and it's Monday afternoon, and I still haven't gotten the green light to get it to a repair shop or get a rental car site. So I'm working from home today because I can't get to the office.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but you know why? At least you're okay.
Yes. Thank you all very much. That's why I didn't like immediately respond when y'all sent the email on Friday. I was kind of dealing with stuff, so apologies for the delay there.
Don't worry, you're fine.
But obviously got your email, and certainly it sounds like it's a fairly sticky situation, for lack of a better way to put it. But just want to really get some clarity on exactly what prompted. Is this the same employee that we were talking about previously? Is it a different one? Is it some combination?
It's a combination. Oh my goodness.
It's a combination.
So Friday, just for you to have an idea. So Friday we had a new team member which just completed a 90 days probation, and he came to me and he said, Patricia, I want to know where's my review? They told me I have 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and a year review. I said, well, who said that? Oh, they told me. Okay. So have you checked the handbook? You have the full access online. I was very patient by the time. And I said, yes, there is a performance evaluation, which means that your leader will
tell you how you're doing.
Exactly. Where's the expectation? We do had a 90 days. We didn't have a 90 days plan for him. We have for the new team members. But anyways, so I said we do for review for salary we do annual, but it doesn't mean you're not qualified to do before 1 year, right? So if you're exceeding your department, we'll be happy to go over and see what we can do for you. And then he starts saying like, oh, I got hired for do this, and now I'm operating the laser, the tool, all the tools. And I said, okay, so are you doing the programmer plus operating, or someone do set up the machine for you and you just
show how to do and then you go do it?
And he said, yes. I said, there's two different things. So anyways, he had so many questions. He said, they told me that I wasn't able to have my paid holiday during these 90 days. I said, that's not true. Have you checked your pay stub? So you had only one paid holiday. It is actually listed on your check. So, and then he had so many other questions. I said, listen, I'm the right person to tell you, beside the handbook, that you do have access 24/7. It's right there. If you have any questions, just come to me or Emily. We'll be happy to, to guide you. So I gave him all and I talked to him when we do all the forms on the first day of employment. And what else? He said, what is it? He got not upset. He was a little bit disappointed at the same time, right? And after that, he said, he called me Senora. He speaks Spanish. And Miss Patricia, I'm sorry that I took your time, but I was a little confused. I said, that's okay. At least you came to me. And do you have any questions? No, I'm okay. Now I very clear. Okay. So what is the other situation we had?
Talk about the investment. that
Oh
we
my
made.
gosh, you know what he told me? I will need your advice on this, Joe. Really. This is the first time in 15 years that I had to be not polite. Usually
Okay.
I'm very in control of my emotions, but this time I was like out of control. Not very much, but he said, oh, he said, I had a company in Brazil. He lived in Brazil for 9 years, something like that. Oh, no, less. He said, you don't need to be very transparent with all the things you do for your company, because it's not every team member they do accept it. And I was like, what do you try to say? It's like, oh, when you told the team that you did a big investment on the 10X for 400,000, right? They got so mad. They said, oh my gosh, why they're spending this money? And I said, the money is mine. I decided where I'm going to invest. You rather work for a company, they don't care about the company, they don't want to grow, or do you rather work for us that we do have a vision? He's like,
Sure.
of course I want to work for you that you have a vision. So
Right.
that was my answer. But during the weekend, I know we cannot be emotional involved on this situation, but I told Carlos I have to say something. So this morning on morning meeting, and I was very clear with our expectation and regarding benefits, all the questions regarding holiday, probation. Please do not ask your coworker, just come to us or refer to the handbook. And then the second of all, so I said first of all, and the second of all, if you think that investment we did for a company is not good, I don't think you are in the right place. So I was very like, I said, I have to be transparent. I got frustrated on Friday. I went home thinking about, what are you guys thinking? Seriously, do you rather, and I said the same thing, do you rather work for a company? They do have a vision or not? They are like all silent. Nobody said anything. And then it was bad because it was a motivational Monday. But
Right.
not for me, it was like, seriously. So I had
Yeah.
a member on Friday, they laughed. They said, oh, I had too much today, like 11:40. They told Lucia I have to go. And it was related to the review because, oh my gosh, that's another situation. He was on work compensation for 9 months and he came back and he said, why I cannot have my review? My review is in December. I said, how I'm going to review you? Do a review based on 6 months, but if it's something that it's going to make you happy, we can do that. So I just called him. He was very happy, but I don't know if they're being honest. I can, and
Cannot trust it.
not anymore.
Yeah.
But bad.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm very like,
So what was the conversation?
I said, if he leave his workstation without any notice, he can lose his job. There's no way he can do that.
Just walk away.
You cannot walk away. And he said, Patricia, I'm really sorry. I had so much in my head that day, but I told Lucia that I need to leave. I said, but you never asked her, it's okay for me to leave at 11:45. It's just that you informed her that you're leaving.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. Like, so we create a schedule based on we're counting on you, on your schedule. So
Right.
really sorry. I wasn't feeling okay to tell you that I was a little disappointed. I said, but how I'm gonna know if you don't tell me? So I told him the expectation we do have from him, and then I'm very transparent. I told him, like, you have been working with us for almost 4 years now. Don't you know that? If it's
Right.
something bothering you, just come to me. So he was a little bit more relieved, but I said it's a verbal warning. If he does this again, it will be a written warning, and then he can lose his job.
Okay. So we addressed it. Sounds like we realigned him a little bit.
little
Yeah,
bit.
but
Let
you
him know
know,
next steps and stuff.
yeah, but he done that before.
When?
But did we not document it the last time that he did it?
You know, that he was
When?
not Thiago. He did the same thing like before, like on his birthday right thing, and he couldn't even look at our eyes, and he was frustrated. And then we call, and everything was fine.
Oh, but he didn't left
No,
his station.
no, he didn't.
But I documented that one. Not
Okay.
that this is the first time that he said he needs
Left the
to.
workstation without approval, basically, right?
Exactly. He's very Christian, and he said God's all the time is everything.
Yeah, but some people just put God in front of everything to excuse
Yeah.
themselves.
I pretty much said that we don't need to say all the time, but I said on the nice way because I'm Christian too. So, and I said, I got very disappointed with you because you never told me that you were upset. So how do I know? If you don't tell me, I don't know. And then
This is true. You can't fix something that you do not know is broken, right? That's,
exactly.
I mean, even, doctors or whatever, they have processes that they utilize to figure out what's going on, because they can't really provide treatment or any type of next steps until they understand what's actually going on and all the kind of the underlying symptoms, right? That's why you don't prescribe before you truly understand what's going on.
Mhm.
So this is just my outside perspective. I've obviously
Sure.
never been to y'all's facility. I've never met any of your employees in person. I don't. So I'm getting obviously the information y'all provide to me and just making assessments. So take it for that, right?
Sure,
That
sure.
I don't have full visibility from everybody's angles or anything. But it does sound like to me personally that there is probably at least one, if not multiple. I'm going to use the word cancer
Mhm.
Yeah.
that works for you.
Mhm.
That's blatantly sabotaging, for lack of a better way to put it. Do y'all have any gut feeling on who that quote unquote cancer might be?
Mhm.
Well, before I answer that, Thiago said there's only three inside of the organization. They are super bad. But he said,
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you because it's not my right to tell you.
Yeah, I'd tell you. You probably know, right? I
Who?
mean, you know your team members. You could probably make a pretty
I think I
educated
know
guess.
Gilberto Walker.
Gilberto, okay.
Renato.
Could be.
Toby,
Renato. Could
Renato.
be. Yeah, could be Renato.
Yeah, well, and so Gilberto and Walker has been with us for almost. I mean, Gilberto's been here for 10 years, over 10 years. Walker's been here for about 8. And we've heard stories before. It's not the first time. And so he does not support what we do, some of the stories, but then when you're in front, he's like
very nice to us. Oh my God.
he makes
nice.
So it's I don't know how people can live that way. I think he's doing it because he cannot find another job to make what he makes here. So but again, he's not helping us either because he's sabotaging other people. This particular guy that came to complain the first time, not Thiago, Wilson, he's been working side by side with Walker for the last week.
2 weeks? A week?
Maybe 2. And I even talked to him the week and said, I know who it is, who he's been talking to this last week.
Right.
So
okay. We have at least a mild guess as to who the cancer or cancers may be within our organization. It sounds like they are fairly long-term employees.
long-term, unfortunately, yes.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how I want to frame this. Hypothetically speaking, if you lost them tomorrow, how much would that impact your day-to-day operation?
Don't lie. Walker, yes. Yes.
Yes and no.
What do you mean no? So who's gonna do the press break?
Well, Walker is the only press break training Wilson to be an operator.
No, seriously. Just
we would have some impact, right? But I think we are having more impact by him staying here and throwing us under the bus all the time. I think that's worse than keeping him doing these jobs, because every one of these jobs we can set it up in the morning and take over.
So there would be impact.
There will be impact for sure,
but not like, oh my gosh, the world is ending. impact.
It will not end.
It would suck,
Oh my
but it
God.
wouldn't end the business, right? Is that
No.
fair?
Yeah, it
Okay.
would be a shame from,
Yeah, I mean, we don't want that, but I like going to like worst case scenario. If
Yep.
we address this and they say F you and walk out, like what,
Mhm.
at least we've thought about that potential
Yep.
scenario, right?
Yes.
So there's no really easy way to handle the situation, if I'm being honest. I wish I could give you like a silver bullet type thing, like you do this and it's gonna 100%
But-
fix it. There's probably not an answer like that that's 100% gonna work. My personal assessment of this is they've been around long enough. Um, they feel comfortable. They feel like they could do or say something and there's not going to be
Mhm.
much of a recourse because they've been there so long.
Yep.
They probably think y'all can't do it without them type of
Mhm.
feeling,
Yeah.
right?
They probably think that way.
And because of that, like the best analogy I can give you is y'all got kids. I'm sure at some point in time, your children have acted out, have done something they don't normally do that's outside of their normal character, negative. I mean, whether it's at school or with friends or whatever, like they've gotten in trouble for something that isn't normal, like is outside of their normal day-to-day personality. Has that happened
It happens all
before?
the time.
Happens all the time. Okay, yeah, that's like
Bam, all the
that's
time.
every kid, right? Why does a kid act like that though? Like, ask the why question.
Right.
Why do they do that? Why does your kid act out outside of their normal personality? Why do they do that with something that would put them in trouble or could be perceived as negative?
Can be.
Why do they do that?
Yeah, sometimes it can be some situation that he went through at home or at school. He had a bad day, or in case
Okay.
of Sammy, like the trigger for him when he's hungry and he
Mhm.
didn't know he's hungry, so he can get mad.
So there's something else bothering them
Yes.
and they don't understand a better outlet, so they just act out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one option. What
Yeah.
else?
What else?
Well, the
Maybe
other thing is
they're-
that they know, they are kids and,
The what? But it's different kids.
or will forget, or,
You're
something.
gonna love them anyway.
Yeah,
It's
Or-
the punishment couldn't fit the crime mentality.
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
The other reason that maybe you haven't thought of yet, but occasionally kids act out because they're seeking attention.
so that's the other one,
I
yeah.
think it's that in this case. Because
So if we apply that to our employees, those same three things we just said, they could be acting out because they're mad or frustrated with something else and they don't know in a better way, so they're just acting out.
right.
That's possible with our employees, right? It could be that they think you're going to love them anyway and the punishment isn't going to fit the crime. That's possible. And it could also be that they are just looking at it from the vantage point of they're seeking attention and they know if someone acts out or does something wrong, like they get attention. Like somebody's going to look, somebody's going to talk to me, somebody's going to do something. And even though it may be negative attention, they're still getting attention. And some are just attention seekers and they don't care if it's positive or negative. They like attention and they want it, even if it's negative. So if we understand that there's this psychology behind why most people act the way that they do, then we can start to understand how to reframe not only to address and hopefully handle the situation at hand, but how do we put steps in place where we reduce the chance of it happening again in the future?
Right. How can
Because
we?
you don't want to fix it and realign them and get them in doing the right thing, and then all of a sudden 3 months from now they're doing the exact same thing
And
because
then
they're mad at somebody else or
Yeah.
they want attention again or whatever the reason may be, right?
Mhm.
So with all that in mind, what is y'all's perception on how you should address the potential? We don't know for a fact, but potential cancers that are in your organization.
I will personally, I know Carlos won't agree with that, but I think we should give him like 30 days. How do you guys call that for the implementation?
Okay.
What?
Like a probation.
Not a
I mean, it's Probationary is generally at the beginning of employment.
So
improvement,
not probation, improvement.
Yeah,
performance
there's
is-
a performance improvement plan if it's a specific performance item that they are underperforming in.
It's a behavior,
Um,
not a performance.
It's
It's a
a
Yeah,
behavior.
this is more
Exactly, but-
behavior. Yeah,
Yeah, but could we tell him that we're checking that he's not being positive? I'm one of the examples downstairs. I went Friday because Thiago left, and it was a part that was just done at the IPG laser, and I know how to do it. So I took the part off, and I was trying to see the there's a inspector
With the pin.
the
right.
with the thing on the plate, and then Walker was walking by, and he's like, "Oh, do you need any help?" I said, how do you do this? Because it's too stiff. I'm not able to connect." And he's like, "Oh, Carlos asked you to do like this." But the way he said, it was like more kind of aggravated. And I said, "Carlos asked you because probably for our customer photo fabrication has this requirement, so that's why we are doing this way." And I said to Walker, I said, "I'm just asking you because if it was me or the other woman, I don't think we'll be able to do this job because it was very, very hard for us as a woman. We don't have too much power, like I do
Sure.
have like this."
Sure.
Then I told Carlos, I said, I just don't like the way he wasn't rude, but you can tell on his face. I can read faces sometimes.
Sure.
And I tell he was like, "Oh, but Carlos has to do like this," but like maybe saying that's not good.
Dismissive, maybe. Dismissive.
Yes. So I don't know. I think we should talk to him and go over the expectation we do have from him.
Yeah, we did that already.
When
Last time that he even cried here.
because
Because
of
he never say anything bad about you guys. That's not the first time.
oh the thing under the carpet.
Yeah, because we're sweeping
he
all
cried.
we're sweeping everything that's wrong. We sweep on a rug,
So we call him.
and he told that with a brand new supervisor that was here back in, I mean, right there. And then somebody new came in and he's just saying stuff like that about the company.
Then we call him.
It's not the
Right?
first time, and it has to stop. I don't think he will change.
Okay. So, okay. Direct question. Do you want him to stay? Because I think that depending on
can't
the
trust,
answer to
no.
that question,
Yeah.
then
If I can't trust, no.
can you trust him right now?
I-
Can you trust him?
I can't, no. He
Okay.
can do the job, but I can't trust him.
But we
Alright.
can't trust anyone here because they are nice to us when we are like most of them,
That's
right?
true.
They're always nice to us. So listen, even Jesus do not. There is an expression we say in English or in Portuguese that I don't know how to say in English, but
No.
how can you translate to me?
Yeah, they say even Jesus wasn't able to get it. I mean, get everybody on board, right? And he
Can you
wasn't-
imagine that?
He
Wasn't
lost
it-
somebody, right?
Yeah.
He had one trader. So that's true. Like there is no such thing as perfection, right? But if you can't trust him and you don't
Yep.
believe that trust can be regained in some way, then even if they can do the job and do it well, like at the end of the day, that lack of trust is going to hurt you more than the performance or the capability of performance will help you. Because as you can see already, it's like a cancer; it's spreading to other people,
it
right?
is.
So if that's true, and I'm saying if, because I don't know this individual from Adam, I couldn't pick him out of a lineup, right? But if that's true, then in my opinion, that's how we have to address it. Is either this changes today and we never hear this again,
Mm-hmm.
or we part ways and not a 2-week notice, like give me your stuff and I'll walk you out
Mhm.
kind of thing. Excuse me. So if that's the route we want to go, then it's still, you got to be professional. You can't lose your composure or anything, but you got to be pretty darn direct.
Mhm.
In those scenarios in the past, how I've handled them is even if I don't necessarily have all the answers or understand everything that they may or may not have said about me or the organization or my partner or whatever, I let them play under the assumption that I do.
Yep.
Like if a police officer goes in to do a interrogation with a suspect, even if they don't know all the details of the crime, they're going to make the perpetrator think they do,
Mhm.
because they're ultimately trying to get a confession so that they can close the case, right? And they can move forward. So they say things in a way that make it sound like they know more than they might. And so it's directional. So what's this person's name? Give me some direction. What's their name?
Walker.
Walker.
Walker?
Hmm.
Okay. Hey, Walker, thanks for coming in today. We're going to make this real short and sweet. Okay. I want you to understand something. Before I sat down and talked with you, I have done about as detailed of an investigation as I possibly could do. I've talked to everybody. I've reviewed video. You may or may not know this, but there's a ton of like advancements in technology. I mean, just look around our building, right? We use technology every single day to execute and complete the products for our customers. Did you know that there are actually cameras that I could put in a ceiling tile that are smaller than a pin that will record both video and audio?
Mhm.
It's pretty crazy, right? So that stuff exists. It's pretty cool. I've been checking it out. So with all of that in mind, I want to understand, when was the last time you said something bad about myself or my company? And understand that I already know the answer. I'm just validating whether or not I can trust you for the next question. When was the last time you said something bad about me or this organization?
I love it.
It's not did you do it, it's when did you do it?
Mhm.
And you're providing some context of, I think I already know the answer. I'm pretty sure. But whether or not you answer the question is going to make me trust you for the next one. Well, I never said anything bad. Oh, come on now. Like, we both know you have. So let's get over this semantic stuff. And you just tell me so that we can actually move forward. Because if you can't be honest with me, we can't move forward. So are you going to be honest with me? When was the last time you said something bad about me or this organization? Like, let's just get it all out. The hope would be they actually say, well, I said blah, blah, blah. And they're never going to tell you the full truth, just like the
Right.
Yeah.
police officer talking to the perp. They're going to tell just a little bit, but you don't care if they tell just a little bit. They're still admitting to it, right? So, hey, I appreciate you being honest. I thank you for that. Do you understand how whatever it is that they said is not okay and isn't acceptable in the workplace? Do you understand that? They're going to say yes. Yeah, I know I shouldn't have said it, or I was mad, or whatever. Like, they're going to be like, yeah, sorry. Well, you know what? Like, I can't move forward with that. I can't have that kind of toxic place in my environment. So with that in mind, and the fact, I appreciate the fact that you're honest, but understand that I cannot accept that in this workplace. So we're going to have to let you go. Even if they didn't admit to everything, like you're trying to get this to be a 5-minute conversation, because the longer it drags out, the more frustrated you're going to get and the harder
Yeah.
it's going to be to hold your composure, because you're going to get mad and frustrated and irritated with them that they're either not telling you the truth or they did tell you something and it upsets you even more because it's not what you thought it was and it's even worse than you thought. All those emotions are going to play. So you want this to be short and sweet.
Mhm.
If that's ultimately the end game, that you can't trust them, there's no way they can really regain the trust. And even if they're a great employee, otherwise, we're going to need to move forward without them. If that's the game plan, you're going into it like a police interrogation. Just tell me what I want to hear so we can get out of here. Now, if you want to try to fix the situation, for lack of a better term, then we have to have a little bit softer of an approach. So it's up to y'all. What are your thoughts?
There won't be just him then. We have to
Okay, we'll do it individually then. Like bring it
But-
in. Don't do this as a group thing. It
I
does not
know,
work as a
but
group.
I know Carlos, he's done. It's just, I feel like,
I've
Of
been
course,
done a
we're
long
gonna-
time.
yes, but we need to, I want to have things from my teamwork, like the team members. Can we, you don't think it's necessary?
To have one.
Like check with Wilson that he came to me, then because I checked with Thiago. I said, Thiago, how is your training going? Because Walker is training Thiago, and he's like, oh, he's great. He's a very professional. He's explained well. He's a very good teacher. But he said, when I don't want to say anything, like, but I got it. It looks like the not being positive or just complain. So yes, but he never said his name. But I you know, the way he,
You can put it together.
yes.
You can, because not the first time.
Yeah, it's just, he said, it feels like he hates the new person. I got it, which is almost it,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Which is
You
his,
can
which is
hate
his
somebody.
supervisor.
Like, I don't like everybody I work with or
Yeah.
have ever worked with, right? Like,
Exactly. But it
that's,
doesn't give you the right to you know,
yeah,
that's
you still got to be
comfortable with the
professional.
position.
Like, yeah, you can not like the person personally, right? But that's why this is a job, not your hobby. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? If it's your hobby, you can choose who you're around because somebody else isn't paying you to do something. But if you accept employment, you're accepting whatever that employer is
Responsibility, yeah.
providing, right? Which includes environment, which includes coworkers that you may or may not like get along with outside of work. And we're not saying they need to go out and have a beer after work. Like that's up to them. We're not going to tell them they have to do that. Like at the end of the day, I don't care if you like your coworker or not. Like that makes zero difference to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's do you show up on time? Can I trust you? Do you do your job to the best of your abilities? Are you putting forth maximum effort? Even if you're not performing exceptionally well, are you putting forth
Mhm.
maximum effort to ultimately get there, especially if you're new? Those things are way more important than I do or don't like the person standing next to me.
Mhm.
And I'll make that perfectly clear to the employee. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you like them or not. I really don't. Here's why, but I really don't care. So don't bring it up again because you're going to get the I don't care Joe face.
I
Mhm.
love it.
I don't. I care about a whole lot. I care about you as an individual, but whether or not you get along with the person next to you doesn't impact me. I'm sorry that it doesn't. If
Yeah.
it did, I would tell you, but it just doesn't.
Yeah. Joe, to be honest, I really love the idea to be the new me. I never thought I'll be like that brave. I'm always like a people person, but I have to show my expectation, the company expectation. And I was very straightforward and I love it because I can show him like I'm being serious.
Mhm.
If the next time, if he does this next time, it's a reading warning or a termination. There is no
Yeah.
other option,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're setting a level of expectation that if
right?
this occurs again, it's going to be an escalating path.
Exactly.
You're not going to get the same response every single
No.
time. There's an escalation of, um, you know, criticism or coaching or,
Oh,
disciplinary action.
yes.
So that's great. Ultimately, when we get past these few scenarios of we have these problems with these employees, we do also have to figure out how do we put barriers in place to prevent it from happening again? Because if we do lose people, we're going to end up hiring more people. How do we ensure that those new people don't have this same repeating problem?
Yeah.
Right.
So like a couple of things I heard at the very beginning that y'all were saying was they were asking questions that the answers are in the handbook, but they didn't go check the handbook. They asked their team member about it, and the team member didn't give them the right answer, and they didn't go
Right.
check the handbook, so they got upset.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, that's like, don't take this the wrong way, but that's a failure on our part. We can give them a handbook all day long. It doesn't do a whole lot. It's do we verify they understand what's in the handbook?
True.
So like, for example, in Tranual for CV, there's an employee handbook for CV that we all sign as a new hire.
Yes.
I can't remember how long it is. I want to say it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 200 pages. Like there's no
That's a
way
lot
I
of it.
remember everything that's in 200 pages. But the important things, there was like a quiz at the end. And I had to pass. Like that was the not you have to get 80% and you keep going. That was 100% or you retake the tests until you get it right.
Right.
So if it's one of those of, you need time off or you
Yeah.
need to leave your shift early, like what is the proper procedure? Maybe we need to put those kinds of questions in place to ensure that every team member has that validation of understanding before they get too far along in the process so that we prevent them from asking their neighbor, getting the wrong answer and getting mad because they got the wrong answer, right?
Yes.
Like those are things we can do
I agree.
proactively
Yeah.
to prevent it down the road. And even questions like if you're frustrated, who do you go to? Like there are some questions I don't remember exactly how they're phrased, but it's something like, if you have an issue, who do you go with? And there's like 4 options. There's your supervisor, there's HR, there's Natalie, there's Brandon. And they're different options, and you can only pick one, and only one's correct, right? It's depending on what you're upset about. You might go to your supervisor, you might go to HR. It kind of depends. At least in our world, y'all are a little bit smaller of an organization. You don't necessarily have an HR department, but there's an HR person right now, right there.
Oh, nice.
So if they have an issue, they should go to you, right? And now not only are you verifying they know that, but you have that record as well in the future. Like, now this happens again, you can go back and say, hey, like, you said you were going to come to me if you had a problem. Like, here's the date time stamp that you said if you had an issue, you were coming to Patricia. Like, here's where it said it right here. Why didn't you do it? Now it's not a behavioral issue, it's a performance issue because you've taken the behavior out. They chose to do it. They knew the right thing to do and they did the wrong thing. That's performance. That's not behavior anymore. Behavior is there's like some gray area. They weren't 100% sure of what the real answer was. So they did their best educated guess and that guess was wrong. That's behavioral. If we can take the behavioral out of it and make it performance, it becomes a very much more black and white. They did it right or they did it wrong. And it's a whole lot easier to hold somebody accountable if they knew what right was and they still did wrong. Then they asked their friend or their partner or their coworker or whatever what right was, and the right thing wasn't told to them correct. So they did that, which technically was wrong, but they didn't know what right was in the first place. There's a lot of gray area there.
Yes,
Let's take the gray area out.
So that's why I always see both sides. Even being a business owner, but I'm HR, so I like to have facts, listen to both sides and not be unfair to anyone. It's just
yeah, I mean, we don't want to be unfair. No.
I know he's being upset. I'm not protecting him. Don't take me wrong. But the way that things are happening is just he doesn't see the
Big picture.
The big picture he can see, because the way the orders are coming downstairs is always something missing.
No, not anymore.
That's frustrating.
The past
I can
2
understand
weeks,
that.
it's getting better. The past 2 weeks, it got better. But all the frustration they're going through downstairs, it doesn't mean he needs to be negative, right?
There's nothing wrong with being frustrated at work. We all get frustrated at work, right? Like every one of us, myself included, get frustrated at work. Depending on your job, that may happen every single day. That might happen every minute of the day. Right?
So can I quit?
No. Sorry.
I can quit now.
You agreed on our very first
No.
call. I was allowed to hold you accountable. Remember?
I know. I don't want to quit. I want to have someone do my job.
No,
I don't want to quit.
No.
I'm not. No.
We can duplicate the HR piece as we continue to grow. That's but no, you can't quit the job. No.
Okay.
Can't do it.
Okay,
Sorry.
boss. Okay, boss.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's just the frustration.
I mean, same thing. There's, of course, there's communication issues. It's just like even Brandon says, it's not what you're saying, what people are listening.
What they hear, yeah.
What they hear. Yeah. We are being more clear and clear and clear, and it gets better.
It's getting better. Yeah.
It's clear with the scheduling. Once it's on schedule. It's on my 8 o'clock a.m. I'm reviewing schedule with Lilson and Lucia, making sure they understand. And I'm going to be doing this for a little longer because I want to make sure they
got it.
Feel comfortable. They got it.
Right.
Until the moment I go downstairs, they can tell me exactly what's going on and okay, what's going on here, what's going on here. So they have that level of confidence of what's happening. Why not this here? Oh, because this, we're waiting for this and not ready. So we want to make sure the machines are working like this. She came to us also about Walker today, as far as we have a job that was scheduled for today. It's not late, it's on schedule. So it's good. But we also have to do a test bend, which is done by, they were running, so he's training Wilson on the press break. We have a job that's for the 4th. So we have time, 2 weeks to get there. But we needed this job, bend, so we could let the operator keep cutting the parts. It's a 3-hour job. And until he came back from lunch, it was not done. And it was like, I say, there's two things that we could do or could have done. We could have put that job in on. So first, look at the schedule of the press break and see if that job was first. So if it was first, he did not look at his schedule. The other one is being, because we think about being here for a long time, and he was the laser operator and also press break operator, and kind of he knows that he needs. We cannot assume that he knows. He knows, and I think he's into the, like Brandon said, he's into the sabotage mode because he's not happy. So he's sabotaging. So he knows that he needed to bend because the guy needs to approve. He needs to approve that bend on QC before they can be cutting parts. It's on schedule, and it's one of those things that I know if I ask, and that's why I don't want it to be. If I did ask, why can you get this done so Casio can get going with the job? He would have done it right away, but because it's Lucia, he didn't do it, or she didn't ask the correct way. Because even we said, okay, how did you ask him to get this done? I mean, let's say it's not on schedule, right? But the job he's doing is not a rush job. It's a very easy setup. It's a 5 minutes to get the job out and start the other one, and within 20 minutes we have the answer. And I'm exaggerating the time, but that's how long it would take. So I said, when you come up with something, so this part needs to be banned, and the operator is waiting on you. So we need to know how long you'll take. So if you're taking more than X amount of minutes, I need him to move to another job so we don't stop the machine. If you can do this right away, I'll let him know that you're doing right away, and he can wait, and we can keep planning my schedule, because that's going to shift the schedule. If we did not have that on schedule, if it was on schedule, it's a different story where that's on schedule. So first thing in the morning said, just set up this job. So once that first piece is out of the machine, you bend, and as soon as it's done, you can go back and do other jobs. So that'll be a different conversation, same outcome. But it's been sitting, I mean, until we look at it till 1 o'clock, it was still there by the machine, ready to go.
So that's the problem.
And the job he was bending, he knows is not a
It's a
job
big
for
problem. So
today.
okay, sorry.
And he were holding a machine and an employee because we don't have, he did not bend that machine. So, and that's what I said, okay, if it's taking too long, you can go back and say, where you are with the part, we're waiting on it. Like, let's say 15 minutes later. If you can get this done right away, I have to switch the job to another one so we don't waste any cut time today. Because right now we already wasted 20 minutes.
Right.
So that's where he knows he needed to bend that part as soon as that part came to his end. He knows he's been here long enough. He knows he needs to do it, confirm so he can move along. In 99 out of 10, 99 out of 100%, that part's going to be right. But we want to make sure before we cut 4 sheets out of parts. But it goes into, to me, it's sabotage at this point. It's not even, he's not happy here. He's just sabotaging.
There's a sabotage nature there that, like, again, he knows what to do and is choosing to do something different. That's no longer behavioral, that's performance, because there has been some level of validation. He knows what to do in the past. Whether that was training or he's just done it so many times. So we have prior performance to prove out a concept that he understands how to do that type of order and that type of speed with that type of machine. That is a black or white scenario, and he is choosing to do one side instead of the other. It's not a gray area where it's a new person that's like still learning and doesn't know and waiting, right? Like that's a little more gray.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, I only have 10 more minutes and I'm done with this job, and I'll jump right in, right? If say we have 20 more minutes here or half hour, we have another 30 minutes here. Can you do something in between? So come up with a solution. If it is all apart now and start this job, we're gonna waste time. So give me about 20 minutes and I'll be done with this, and I can switch, get this job, and Casio's laser cutting. It's not like that. Not the first time either. That's why I told Patricia at this point it becomes damaging to our company culture, damaging to our business, and it doesn't set the example, because that guy goes out the door tomorrow, people are gonna be looking at their
Yes. Yeah. In the end of the day, in my opinion, those are symptoms of whatever the actual issue is. Like, he's mad about something or disgruntled about something. He's no longer aligned for some reason. And the symptom is what you just said.
Yeah,
Like that's not the issue. We could address that and
Yeah.
maybe fix that issue because he does know what to do. And if he knows that you're just gonna like yell at him every single time he does it wrong, he might just start doing it right in that one thing. But that symptom's gonna pop up somewhere else,
well, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
If you got internal bleeding and it's coming out of one sore and you cover up that one sore, like it's still bleeding. You know what I mean? Like there's still that blood's going somewhere. It's
Mhm.
just going to show up in the symptom elsewhere, right? So it's not about like covering up the sore. It's about figuring out like what is actually causing it so that we can fix that. Because if we fix that, the sore will heal on its own. Like the human body will do that, right? But if we don't fix whatever the original issue is,
Mhm.
then that symptom is going to present itself in some other way. And it's the same thing with these types of like kind of cancers is the term I use. Sabotage is, kind of probably the most well-known usage, but they mean the same thing.
Yeah,
There's some underlying issue and it's popping up in multiple different ways. So, with all of that in mind, we've talked through a couple of different scenarios. We talked through a couple of different potential ways to address this. What do y'all want to do?
I know what you want to do.
I'll fight a
Y'all's
lot.
company, you get to choose.
Yeah, we have
You
Yeah,
another
have to be
one. that
aligned.
just-
Well, one is going out today.
No,
Well, he
not
already left.
anymore.
The other
Very
one,
left. Okay,
program.
so tomorrow would be the soonest we could potentially, address it with them. But how are we going to
I
address
don't
it?
know. He's talking about a different team member that we are.
Oh, different.
This
Okay,
one is a done deal. It's tomorrow. He's done.
okay.
It's a new.
The one that's been with you for 10 years or whatever. Let's talk about that one because I believe that's likely your problem more than anyone else because he's been there that long.
Yeah, I
Right.
think he should be gone.
So what are we going to do about that?
The 8 years or the 10 years? Gilberto too?
Gilberto is fine. Gilberto is Gilberto is the water jet operator. It's one of those people that
But we have to call him.
we
anyway.
will have to reset him, put him in a place.
Okay. So he just needs a reset, a realignment. Okay.
He needs a
That's
reset,
good
realignment.
that we're not going to try to run him out the door.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. He's
Not
he's
yet. All right.
Not yet, because if it can't keep up with because he's been with us, he's again another very good worker.
Are you there?
Yeah, my camera's going weird. I don't know.
So
Oh.
he's
I'm
been here. He's been but same thing. He's not as
What?
he's still a cancer, but let's say a stage 1 cancer, not a 4.
Okay. Treatable
because
is what you're
yeah,
saying.
treatable.
Okay.
I think he's
All right.
treatable.
You think Walker is not tradable?
No, I don't think so. That's a character thing. I think
So
he's-
my opinion, get rid of the one that's untreatable, like handle that one first.
Mhm.
Because not all the time, but you would be shocked how many times by removing that untreatable cancer, the other cancer that is treatable treats itself. It's like
Oh my gosh.
self-diagnosis. Like just figure it out. Oh my God, if I don't fix it,
Yeah.
I'm the next one. And they just suddenly stop.
Yeah. think
So
so
I
too.
pick the worst one, fix that one. Like have that difficult conversation, be polite but blunt, direct.
Mhm.
I already know what I need to know. I just need you to admit to it so we can move forward. A whole lot of positive nods. That's just like psychoanalytics that if I just nod when I ask you a question, you're going to say yes. Tell me about the last time that you said something bad about the company or about myself. Tell me when.
Yeah, I'm not
They're
even
just
gonna talk
naturally
about
gonna do it.
him and everything. Yeah.
So
That's-
you
Is that
think
tomorrow?
start
Or
saying?
what?
So
What?
you think once he starts saying like
he's done. I mean, either way, he's done.
and then what are we gonna tell him? So we have to let you go.
We can't have people that we can't have people that we don't trust. And you know what's gonna happen?
He's gonna
He's
cry,
gonna
cry.
no. He's gonna shit mouth everybody else.
Uh-huh.
He's gonna blame everybody. He's gonna blame
Okay.
for it all because I'm guarantee. I guarantee if I had to bet money on, I win. Because he's done it before when he got cornered.
He
Then he
cried.
start pointing fingers to other people. And
Yeah,
we
but
have-
he's still here is the problem, right? Like
Exactly.
he was allowed to do that and continue.
we had another cancer here that left last year and was like the air is lighter.
Oh,
And,
Diego.
I bet you it's going to be the same thing here. Like it might take a day or two. Like there's going to be some weirdness probably. because we're gonna have to figure out how to pick up the slack for that individual because they've been
Sure.
around a while. They know what to do. Like there's gonna be some weirdness, but there's also gonna be some weirdness of the other employees going, "Oh my God, what happened?" It might take a few days, but chances are pretty good that if you remove that after that initial "oh my gosh" time period, like it's going to feel lighter, to use your words. Like it's going to feel better. The atmosphere will lift a little bit. Maybe not all the way to where you want it to be, but you will probably feel a tangible difference.
Yeah, because we're gonna call the other cancer, wait a few days and call cancer 1, the stage 1, and reset him too.
So when are we going to do the first, like the most difficult problem child? When are we going to do that one?
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow, or
Tomorrow?
or even tonight.
Not tonight.
I would do tomorrow if I.
I have to
Yeah.
do the Davin one letter thing.
Yeah, because the other
Yeah.
one is the new programmer, which has absolutely zero.
The self-started thing.
He's not a self-starter. He's not like in the quoting process. And I came to a conclusion this past weekend, and I was talking to Patricia. I talked to Gil this morning too. Is we used to do different, and it worked. And what we're trying to change, it never worked. We always had a lot of problems. And I'm talking as far as we were always like, if I was an estimator, I will be estimating, I'll be processing the order and programming. The only difference we didn't have before that we will have now is having somebody review that program before release. So you cannot release your own program. Somebody else has to review.
Got it.
We always had that formula. So we had 4 guys. The 4 guys they were always quoting, order processing, programming, buying material. Not everybody, because we created a system. We will even create a better system for material purchase. Somebody reviews, put on a schedule, released. Because Devin, he's a very analytical, which it will be good for that position, but if you gave him a task and he's done, he just cross his arms and he stares at the freaking screen. He doesn't ask for more.
Oh.
He's done. He just sits like this, looking at the screen. And we tell him, once you finish, just go shadow Abel or go shadow somebody else. No. So he's not.
So you have provided him direction. He's just not following the direction. Got it. Okay.
He's not following.
How do I terminate this person? Should I say anything during the termination letter? Like,
in his employment offer, his job offer letter, whatever it is, and or new hire paperwork, do y'all have any wording in there that's like first 30, 60, 90 days is probationary? Boom.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say.
The one you guys provide us, so we are covered.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's literally all I have to say. We're still inside of your probationary period. We came to the determination there's just not full alignment with the core responsibilities of this role, so we're gonna have to part ways.
Yeah.
Like that's literally all you have to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've given yourself that out. You don't have to turn for cause because you have that clause in either your job offer letter or your new hire paperwork, or if not both. You might have it in both places, but as long as you have it in one, you're good.
Yeah, because he was sitting with me because once we last talked about commitment, I committed to training the schedule, which is changing. It's making a turn. So we even have a positive feedback from the team on Friday that things were getting better. They were not, Gil's and Abel radio is not really ringing all day long, asking for questions on this and that order, because we are taking care of those when we're scheduling. We're making sure we got everything. We're making sure we're on top of vendors. We're making sure that the operators have what they need. They don't have to look for anything. Their job is not to look for stuff to do. The job is to get stuff done, jobs done. Jobs are released. Then you have all the information. You just get it done, and to the best possible outcome. And but I still need to be. I want to be more like I am now. I have to change my schedule, so I'm not going to the gym in the morning. I go at home, so I can be before 8. Because at 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9, we are looking at schedule. Go scheduling purchase orders that came in last night, orders that came in this morning. So really looking the way I see things and optimizing that schedule, because next month we go change to Fulcrum, which is a new software, which I've been playing on I've been trying a little bit every day to understand more how can we do better on Fulcrum and the
Right.
advantages of Fulcrum. And I've seen a lot of them for the operator, but it's just,
Cool.
I feel that, like, even I saw the job description that we sent if we just get somebody, I think having this not micro, but project manager, the way we had before, we have, once you quote that job, you process the order and you program, exactly, 100% of what's going on with that job. So if somebody asks you about that job, you should know everything about it. So it's less questioning. So if you quoted, but the customer was missing something, you made a note on that quote. So when that order comes in, hey, by the way, I have this thing here that you need to send me. And that's what we've been doing with the quoting process. So we get notes on if we need something when it becomes an order. So it becomes very clear. Because let's say if I'm not here tomorrow and somebody pick up my work, they know
What needed.
to do.
Yeah.
So we want to have, at some point, you might split that again into, okay, now we have a programming team.
Right.
But I think,
Yeah, let's get one good one, and then we can. It's like the trifecta
exactly.
effect. Start with one, get them where you need to be, and then we can, triplify them. It's that whole rule of three, that we have. So let's start with one. We got some job descriptions now that I think are pretty close to what we're looking for. So on our call on Wednesday morning that we have, we'll utilize that time to check in. How did the cancer talk go? Just curiosity on, by then that should have happened, and would love to know how it went. But then it's like, how do we move forward, right? So how do we have job descriptions now? We looked at your Indeed page last week. It was pretty well good. So we can get those couple of postings, start getting some candidate flow. We have to talk through like what is our current process for interviewing and also onboarding. So like all of the steps of that process, and just ensure that there's not any potential opportunity for improvement there, so that we're ready to go. If we get a really, really good candidate over the weekend or something, like we know steps 1 through however many, 5, to get them to a place in which we can make them an offer, all that kind of stuff. And then we can also strategize on, when we bring those new people in, how do we have those barriers in place to prevent some of these issues that we're experiencing today? Like what questions can we ask in a quiz on training, or at what point do they have a sit down conversation, maybe even with one of you two? Is that 2 weeks into the job? Is that 30 days into the job? Even though you're not technically going to be their direct supervisor, like if we put some of those barriers in place, that could also create some opportunity where they feel more comfortable coming to you, and versus asking their coworker if they have a question and they don't want to go back and read a 200-page handbook. They're probably just going to go, what's the easiest route here? Well, this person sitting next to me, I'm going to ask them. Or if they feel really comfortable, they could come to you. And if we create that synergy, then that's then possible. So we'll talk through all of those scenarios on Wednesday. And then we'll also look at the departmental metrics, because we started with organization and we're going to break it down into the departments. So we'll review that as well. So we have quite a bit to cover on Wednesday, but I think it'll be one of those that we'll see some very, very significant step forward by putting all of these things in place. Sound like a plan?
Yeah,
it's a challenging plan.
it's a challenging plan. And then tomorrow, my father-in-law is coming from Brazil.
Great.
We had scheduled the morning, but I don't think it's going to happen. So he needs to take the Uber or a bus till, like, go to Boston is crazy in the morning. It just seems,
I could imagine.
yeah, but I feel bad because he's gonna come on the day that it wasn't a good day for us.
But we have the Thanksgiving
Yeah,
weekend.
but Thanksgiving is on.
Which is, we have
on
more
the
time.
next week.
Yeah, it's already next week.
Yeah, next week's Thanksgiving. I mean, like, before we know it, the end of the year will be here, and we'll be into 2025. Like, that's crazy. So that's great that he's coming, though. Hopefully, the trip is safe and easy and as eventless as possible. So yeah, that'll be great.
It'll be.
Do y'all feel better after this conversation?
Yes, it's.
Than you did at the beginning?
business therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Very helpful. It
it's-
is. It's just just a confirmation, I think, that we need. Even though I don't like to fire people that, you know, especially, I know Carlos said he already, we had a problem before and he cried and he's like, oh my gosh, you guys have to trust me. It was a big, then
So two
after
things,
years-
because you told me I could hold you accountable on our very first call. So one is a challenge,
yes,
and that is this falls, in my opinion, into two of the three lids from John Maxwell. I think this falls into the operational effectiveness lid and the leadership lid. I think this hits both of those.
it does.
I personally don't look, I've never fired anybody in my career. And I've probably had 100,000 employees that have worked for me over the course
Really?
of that 30 years. Yeah. Like at one point I had 30,000 people that worked for me, but I've never fired anybody. I don't. I promote them to customer.
I like that idea.
Because
Very
in
much.
almost every organization, the
Yeah.
customer, the end client is the most important thing, right? We don't take care of our customers, we don't have a business.
Mhm.
So if customers are number one and employees are number two, because they probably should be number two, if you're no longer an employee, you get to be a customer. That's a promotion. Now, yeah, I mean, you don't get a paycheck, but you get to be the most important person in our organization. You get to be a customer. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But
Think of
looking at
the
it,
opposite.
yes, positive spend. But also like operational effectiveness lid, raising that lid, raising the leadership lid. We also have to understand that there are times in a career, in an industry, in a company, that if we don't solve a problem, that may mean someone is no longer with us, even if they've been with us for a very long time,
Yep.
that we're going to hit a lid. Like they're causing your lid to be at a certain place, like it or not, they just are.
They are.
And unless we do it, you're never going to be able to get through that lid. And it's going to be frustrating because you're just always going to be hitting that lid. You're never going to be able to break through. But if you get rid of them, that lid can then raise. And now you can raise the level of performance of yourself and everyone around you. So by fixing it, and it may not be fun, it's never fun to have these conversations. But if on the other side of it, things get better, then it was worth it.
For sure.
So look at it not on what's happening, but what's the result. Put the best of a positive spin on it as you can.
Yep.
And ultimately, it's probably a good thing for the employee too. Maybe not short term. They're losing their job. They're not going to have a paycheck anymore. That's not good for anybody. But maybe in the long term, they do get a job that they like better and they're more happy, whether that's here or they move back to Brazil. Like it doesn't matter. Like, but ultimately, it could be better for them as well. So you're helping them get to that stage faster than they might do on their own.
Yeah, I think so too. I think by staying here because it's comfortable for him. It's
No one wants to grow when they're comfortable.
no,
Are you ready for the crying and
I'm
begging to
fine.
stay?
I am fine. I fired him
The
a long
only
time.
thing, yeah,
You guys kept him. I fired them a long time
the
ago.
only thing
I
is,
fired Devin 2 weeks ago because it gets to a point that it doesn't move forward. Same with
Well, we're there. So
Same-
the good
same-
news is we're all aligned, right? That person needs to be removed.
same,
no,
same,
yes, for
same
sure.
with Thiago.
You think
I
we should
don't-
fire him?
Not yet, but do you trust him?
Do you trust everyone in the company?
No, of course not.
So
Not
we
right
have
now.
to fire everyone then.
We're gonna have to realign them so we can trust them.
Exactly,
And the
that's
ones
what
we
we're
don't
trying
trust,
to do.
we have
That's what
to
we are doing.
make sure they exit.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
We
So let's
cannot
start
build
with
a
the first
company.
one. and
Yeah,
then
the
we'll
speed of trust,
Yeah.
like
strategize.
I
There
said,
you go.
we gotta build a speed
Stephen
of trust.
Covey. That's like my third favorite book of all time right there. Speed of Trust. Yeah, it's a fantastic book.
How can you, yeah, if would we be married if you don't trust me? It's the same thing in business.
I know, but it's not
We'll be
everyone like that.
apart. It's
Yeah. And
what
there's
does that
a
mean?
trust but verify in business as well. Like I can trust you, but if I'm your boss, I still have to verify you're doing what you want to do. So just
Yeah.
because I have to verify doesn't mean that there's a lack of trust,
That's correct.
right? So like it's one of those, and that's difficult for employees to understand. Like, why are you always checking up on me? Well, it's not that I don't trust you. It's like that's my job.
Yeah.
But we can get to that. when the time, like right now, we need to remove the cancer from the body so that the body can heal itself. Like that's the most important thing. That's the wall that's in front of us. Let's break through the wall. And when we get to the other side, we can then strategize on what the next thing is that we need to go conquer. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, virtual high five. Virtual high five.
You better soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Get
scary.
your chiropractor to put you back in place.
Y'all should, I'm leaning over. I can't even sit up straight. So, but yes, that is the plan for sure.
And you were on a Tesla, which is low center of gravity. It's pretty, it can take a hit.
It can. Yeah. I mean, it would have been a lot worse for sure if I was in like some other non-Tesla vehicle. It probably would, because they had to be going fast and I was at a dead stop. So it was like, you know, it was not a fun ordeal, but again, no major injuries for myself or anyone else. So that cars can be fixed or replaced. So that's fine. So we'll figure out how that needs to go and keep going. But yeah, so we have our call still on Wednesday. We're still good at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what time do we have for Wednesday?
It's still, it's at 11, right?
It is. Let me just double check it because I know we had that issue last week. I actually have it because I think we
11:30.
changed it. It's 11:30 your time, 9:30 my time
Yeah.
on Wednesday morning. So that's so good.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, I will see you on Wednesday.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Have a good evening.
All right, too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.